everybody. Good evening, family. It's so good to be here tonight and to see all of you. I'm so excited. Every Monday that I look on here and I get to see your names in the comment section, that's a good day because you know that connecting with you is the best part of my day. Shout out to our greeter, Lori, and to everybody who's on with us from near and far. I'm delighted that you're here. I'm Mama Sue, and it's the joy of my day to get to spend time with you. If you're visiting with us for the very first time, or if you're signing on for the first time, be sure and put that in the comments section so we'll know that. And when I go back through and read all the information in the comments, because I do after every single broadcast, then I'll know if you're a first timer, and I'll be sure to try to connect with you a little bit more so that we can make sure you're a valued member of the family. I love having you all to be a part of Moments with Mama Sue. We're going to have a great time tonight, but before we get in too deep, please like and share. Like and share. And then if you're wanting to have the latest up to the minute updates for Moments with Mama Sue or whatever is going on with my creative flow, be sure and click on the little bell that you see there on Facebook or YouTube, and that way you'll get the first notice about all new content that's coming out. We'll be giving a shout out to everybody later on in the broadcast, but for now, let's get this party started. I've been so excited about our guest for tonight. I have known him for years, for a long time. He is an amazing individual, and he's good looking, y'all. He is very nice looking, easy on the eyes, but easier on the heart because he has a heart that is so big and he does so many wonderful things. So I'm going to be introducing to you all the inimitable Mr. Chris Tate, Minister Chris Tate. Our discussion tonight is going to center on Seniors Matter. Seniors Matter. We hear a lot about colors in our world today, don't we? We hear about Black Lives Matter, Black backing the blue, orange push, all different kinds of things, blue states and red states. But more important than all of that is a national treasure that I feel sometimes gets overlooked. And that is the seniors that are in our lives, in our community. So much wisdom, and they kind of get sidelined because everybody's worried about what it takes to impress, engage, or encourage millennials. But we also have to remember these wonderful people who have paved the way and on whose shoulders we are standing. So I am going to introduce to you a young man who comes to us from Washington, D.C. He was born in Chicago, Illinois, but he's been living in Washington for a number of years. I met Chris in Bakersfield, California, what seems like a million years ago. He's been involved in prison ministry, but of late, his focus has been senior ministry. So would you please join me by putting comments and hearts and whatever we do to acknowledge symbolically that we're welcoming him, and welcome Minister Chris Tate to Moments with Mama Sue. And Chris, you'll have to open up your camera so we can see you.
Okay.
Da 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 da.
Can you see me now?
Oh no, I don't see you. I see a mic stand and a ring light. Turn it around. Oh my goodness.
What did I do?
Okay, move it over. And I can't say to your right or left.
Hold on.
So that it will see you. I'm seeing a corner full of stuff. Okay. There he is. Oh, there he is. Da, 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 da. That's how we know you're there and you're perfect. That's how we know we're live, because we do all those things. Chris, welcome to Moments with Mama Sue.
Thank you. So good to be here. I'm honored. I mean, wow. I get to be with Sue, y'all. This is like an icon in my life. I tell you, Sue Roseberry, I mean, everybody loves Sue. And when you asked me to do this, I was just so elated. I'm like, wow, of course I'll do it.
Oh, well, I reconnected with you on last year. I was in Washington, D.C. for GMWA and some other things. And I happened to get to see you. And that was like the thrill of a lifetime because that took me way on back. And when you know people who have been involved in ministry for a long time and you find out that they're still loving
Mhm.
Jesus, still trying to do something for the kingdom, that is just so great. It is
It
so great.
was it was so good
Tell
to
me,
see you. Yeah.
tell me, Chris, what is keeping you up at night? And we're talking about Seniors Matter today,
Yeah.
so you can tell us about that passion of your heart.
Well, I can tell you about, first of all, again, thank you for inviting me here today. Uh, this pandemic has been, I don't have to tell any of you guys this. This has been probably the most life-changing event for all of us ever. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what race you are, what religion you are or are not. Things have changed. Usually when things happen in society or in the world, it's the kind of thing you can watch on TV and turn the TV off and kind of be unaffected by it. But now we're dealing with something that affects everybody everywhere. And from the onset of this thing, we found out that the seniors were our high risk group, the ones that are at the um, uh, most most likely to get sick from the coronavirus. My passion, I'm not going to say it kicked in because it was already there. My mother has always been one who has a passion for senior citizens and for people behind bars. And so she got me started in my prison ministry 27 years ago. And I started working with senior citizens also maybe about 10 years ago here in DC. And unfortunately, tomorrow marks 2 years that the Lord took my mother home to be with him. And I've been grieving pretty hard. I'll be the first to admit I'm a mama's boy. I'm a single parent with two boys and a girl. Well, now they're all grown. But my mother and I have been best friends, close friends since I was a baby. I don't remember ever not having mom really, really close to me in my life. And so after she transitioned and when this pandemic hit, I've been wanting to do something in her honor anyway. And as you can imagine, prison ministry got shut down immediately because, all access to prisons were cut completely off because of the virus. And it's going on almost 8 months now since I've been inside of a prison. And I was going 3 to 5 times a week. I have access to 61 prisons across this country, and I was going all the time. And to be someone who was going all the time, and all of a sudden I can't go at all, it was driving me crazy. So what I decided to do when they begin to tell us how senior citizens should be at home, they shouldn't be out in the streets shopping or doing anything else. Around the same time, my taxes came back, and I just took my tax return. I said, Lord, I'm gonna go with the leading, and He led me to give shout outs on Facebook to tell senior citizens 65 and older, if you're out there and you need anything from the store, don't go. Call me, text me, email me, and I'll go get it for you and bring it to your doorstep. You don't have to leave home at all. And when I started doing this, I had maybe about 15 people that I was seeing on a regular basis. I have up to 154 now that's on my list. And when I tell you, I don't charge them anything. I've never asked them for a dime. Whatever they list, somebody may want a loaf of bread and a couple of cans of beans. Somebody may want 8 bags of groceries. I mean, whatever it is they need from the store, I go get. And when that money kind of was depleted from the taxes, I put the cash app that you see on the screen. I put that out on Facebook, and people started planting seeds into the ministry. And I can truly say, from day one to now, not one day has gone by where somebody has called and needed something from the store, even the stuff you can't really find at stores. The Lord blessed me to get, because you can't. Just hard to get Lysol spray, and at one point you couldn't even get toilet paper and paper towels. But the Lord has blessed me to be able to stockpile things at my house for senior citizens only, and they know I go out every day, and I'm telling you, it has been twofold. It's blessing them to get what they need without having to leave home. And it's blessing me too, because every time I go and do what I do with them, it's like I'm doing it to my mom over and over again. And it's like she never left. And I thank God for that, because it's been excellent grief therapy for me. Again, tomorrow It's not. It's one of the darkest days of the year for me. Having to face this day of uh, the anniversary of her being gone is hard. But again, I take comfort in knowing that her legacy is going forward, and that people are being blessed by her still, even though she's not here. So that's how
Yeah.
I got started.
For your sweet mom, her name was Hazel. Let's call her name. You know, there's an old African proverb that says, as long as we speak their name,
Yeah.
then they are never, ever really gone from this earth realm because we continue to remember them. So we speak her name, and you do this grocery run for seniors in her honor. But I have been watching you, and, you know, like a stalker, I'll be just trolling Chris Tate with posts, but I've seen you make seniors days in lots of ways. You deliver Easter lilies, with your mom's favorite flower, to senior ladies, and they are just so appreciative. It just warms my heart. Why do you think the seniors are so drawn to just the little things that
Mhm.
people do?
Because it doesn't take them. Us younger people, we're the ones who look for the tangibles. Sometimes it's hard to even shop for people my age and younger because they want the name brand, they want to go here, they want to do that. The seniors that I come across, they just want the time. They're used to just having the companionship of somebody who, don't forget that I'm here. That kind of. My mother was that way. My mother was not one. When she passed away, she didn't have a bunch of houses and cars and diamonds and jewelry and things like that we had to divide up. My mother wasn't about material thing. My mother, her day was made by phone call. We talk 3 times a day, literally. That's not a, I'm being literal. When I get up in the morning, when I get to my office at work, she's calling me first. And then Toronto is behind us here. So at 6 o'clock in the morning in Denver time, she would call me. We talk about a half hour. Lunchtime, I'll FaceTime her and we'll talk, talk, talk. Then when I get home, I would FaceTime her again because she cooks every day with no recipes or nothing. And I'll just be watching her cook on social media. So, you know, um, not having that anymore with her was traumatic for me. But with the senior citizens, you mentioned about Mother's Day and all that. I was really big on celebrating my mother's birthday, celebrating Mother's Day. She can care less about, and I say care less, but she wasn't into diamonds and furs. If I get her flowers or a big old Valentine's Day card that was like this, she would love stuff like that. So, since Mother's Day fell at the beginning of this pandemic, when it was, when it first started being really, really hot and serious, I decided to pick 10 mothers and don't tell nobody who it's going to be, and just show up at their door with Easter. I mean, well, Easter lily for Easter, but for Mother's Day, just a bouquet of flowers. I had my camera going and everything, and I'm gonna tell you, it just watching their faces light up just did it for me. It's again, each time they open that door, I feel like my mom was opening her door again because my mother loved flowers. And then it went from that to, I would tell senior citizens, if you need something done around the house, you need something fixed, whatever, you let me know. I got a group of men together on Father's Day weekend. Pastor Blackman out in Capitol Heights. He had a group of men. We all advertised that it's going to be a day of service, and we picked about 7 seniors, I think it was, and whatever they wanted done, we did. We power washed their driveways. We cut grass, cut hedges, trim hedges. We got rid of junk out of the basement. We did everything that day, and then shortly after that, one of the seniors called me because she needed the front of her house painted, and a young man that I asked to go do it, he kept dragging his feet, dragging his feet, dragging his feet, making excuses. So I didn't know that he had done that. I thought he had already did her house. So I called her. I says, so how did it go? And she says, well, he never showed up. And I don't like my word going out, and the people don't. I don't like no shows. So I said, tell you what, Mom, I'll go do it. I'm not a painter at all, but I went to Home Depot, got the paint, got all my stuff, and I showed up and I painted all the front of the house. I painted myself too, but I painted all over the front of the house. And when she came out and saw it, her face was just lit up like a light bulb. And once again, I felt like I was looking at my mom when that happened. It just felt so wonderful again to me. I'm still grieving, but again, there's a glimmer of light every time I go out. Every morning I get up and do this, I feel stronger and stronger and stronger. And as you probably can't see behind me, but my mother's pictures are everywhere. I got a blanket here with her face all on it, on my bed. I'm a mama's boy, and uh, helping these senior citizens have been a tremendous blessing to me. And some of them got worried when they found out this pandemic ain't going nowhere no time soon, and they were asking me, "Well, are you still going?" I said, "Look, I'm gonna keep doing this until God say stop." And He hasn't given me no sign at all that it's over. So get used to seeing His face. I'm gonna still be here.
That is so great. Listen, before you talked about how your mom got you involved with prison ministry, because I think when I first came to know about you back in the 90s, like
Mm-hmm.
around
Mm-hmm.
92 or 93, that's what you were heavily involved in. And you were
Yeah.
traveling all over the country to more than 60 prisons, going behind the walls, dealing with our brothers who have been incarcerated. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's another forgotten segment of our community. And many of them are there and they've locked the doors and thrown away the keys and forgotten that these are souls and that they have lives. They're somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's daddy. Talk a little bit about your involvement with the prison ministry and how that has affected your life.
I'm gonna tell you what got me started with the prison ministry. Again, years ago, another tragedy. My brother, his wife, and his four children were all killed by a drunk driver, all six of them. And even though the young man that did it wound up getting off, that's another long story. Um, I understand he had a lot of criminal background, a criminal activity that came after the accident, and I began to wonder what happens in the mind of somebody. What goes through your mind when you know you've taken a life? I mean, I was always curious about that. Because with me, if I hurt somebody's feelings, it keeps me up at night. I can imagine knowing that because of me, for whatever reason, whether it's an accident, intentional, that someone's life is over because of me. So I started going to the youth authorities in Whittier, California first, with a friend of mine, and would visit young boys out there just to talk to them. And I was shocked to see what life was like inside the walls. Because again, for someone who had never been to prison, both either as an inmate or a visitor, you just got this mental picture of what the media tells you, what you see on Oz and penitentiary and all that of what prison life is like. But when I saw these boys look like my kids. They look like me. They look like you. I mean, they're like regular people. They were not no monster looking people. And I began to really do a lot of study of these kids and find out they're just people who just made mistakes and got caught. And they're no different than a lot of people on the streets who have made the same mistakes and just hadn't got caught yet. So that grew from the youth authority. I would do programs in the prison like concerts, brought choirs in there. I brought a lot of celebrities in there. The late Tommy Ford from Martin was a good friend of mine. He always came to the prison. Another person, James Avery from Fresh Prince, would always come to the prison with me. Kim Whitley, Monica Calhoun, Niecy Nash came all the time. I mean, these are people who was heavily involved with the young man. And I was asked to go to one adult prison in Ventura, California, just once to sing. And I did it, and that just opened all kinds of doors, and it began to spread all over California. And then when I moved to the DC area in 2001, chaplains on the West Coast was calling chaplains on the East Coast to tell them Chris Tate is coming and y'all got to get this guy in. And it just took off. And in this DC metropolitan area, there's 17 prisons between Maryland, Virginia, DC, and West Virginia and Pennsylvania that I go to often. And again, it's been so consistent that I had two dreams when it comes to the prison. One was to do a live recording in the prison, and what inspired that was Myrna Summers. Myrna Summers did an album back in 1973 at a women's prison, and I always wanted to do a live recording at a prison. And so we wound up doing a live recording in 2006 at the Eastern Correctional Institution in Westover, Maryland. And then my other dream was to take a film crew into the prison and
Oh,
record a
wow.
documentary. And I would ask, and they would say no. I asked again, they said no. My manager would ask, and they said no. And we just kept on asking. I said, well, most they can do is keep on saying no, but I'm gonna keep asking. And I kept asking. And my mama says, Chris, don't stop asking. Just keep on believing God. He's gonna open the door. And I will never forget September the 2nd, 2013. I get a phone call from them. They said, I'm just curious, how much time would you need if we allowed you to do this documentary? I said, we can get it done in one day. And they said, we're going to give you 1 day. We're going to pick the day. If you can't do it, then oh well. They gave me October 27th, 2013. I contacted my producer in Denver. He came to DC with his camera. We had a whole crew. And what's so crazy about it is, in a maximum security prison, there's really funny about what you can take inside the walls. You know, you can't take all these extra lights and wires and bulbs and stuff that's considered contraband. So he gave me this long list of stuff. I said, oh, we can't take all that. He said, well, how are we going to do this? I says, oh, I don't know. I said, tell you what, give me the list and I'll send it to them, and just be ready for them to chop this way. I mean, they had a bunch of stuff on there. So I sent the list to them, and I sent it through my AOL email address. I say that because as I'm talking to him on the phone, he said, did you send it? I says, well, yeah, I'll probably hear from them sometime tomorrow. All of a sudden, your AOL says, you got mail. I said, who was that? I clicked it. It was a prison. And they said one word, approved. They approved everything on the list. And I'm like, I called my mommy and said, Mommy, because she was living here at the time, you got it, because she lived in Baltimore. She said, I said, you got to go with me. She said, you want me to go? I said, yes, Mommy, I want you to be a part of this. And I want you to be interviewed. And she got so excited. And October 27th, we filmed the entire documentary. And it's on YouTube. In fact, here's the DVD. I just happen to have one.
Oh.
I didn't plan to do this. It's called Praise Behind the Walls. And it's not for sale. You can go on YouTube and watch it. If you YouTube search Christopher Tate Prison, you'll come up with this here. And it takes you right behind the walls. You can see the singing, the preaching, all the inmates, and everything. And it's just been a dream come true for me. I just thank God. And even though the pandemic has shut it down for a minute, it's not over. Long from being over.
I believe that. I believe that. Listen, if you're just joining us, this is a wonderful interview with a friend of mine, Minister Chris Tate of Washington, D.C. And I often say about Moments with Mama Sue that it gives me a chance to introduce some wonderful people that I know to some other wonderful people that I know. So you guys get to meet other people. We're talking about Seniors Matter tonight. I'm going to pause just for a moment to give a shout out to some of the people who are on with us this evening, Chris. There's Lori and Felicia, Waynette, Letha, Chucky, Chester, Tamika, Yvonne, Deborah, thank you for tuning in. LaDanya, Shameka, Doris, Chanel, Marvin, Sanders, thank you for
all these names.
Teresa, Bertha, Wanda, Dante, Tammy, Karen, Esther, Mahogany, Kiki, Gwen, John, Sharon, Linda, Barbara, and Vivian, Diane. I call her, when I see Vivian, that always surprises me because I go by Diane. But it's so good to have all of you joining us tonight. And I know that you have been enjoying hearing Minister Chris Tate just share from his heart about the things that he's doing. He's been talking about his work with senior ministry. He has some events that are coming up. We only have a precious few minutes left. Chris, what are you doing with that camera? Be still, my soul. Be still, I say unto thee.
I'm sorry, it did something weird. I don't know what it did.
Anyway, we see you on the camera now, but tell us about some of Bridget is on with us tonight. Hi, Bridget. But tell us about some of the things that you have coming up. And listen, I hope it inspires you because there are senior citizens everywhere, not just in Washington, D.C., but something that you have been doing is promoting that people everywhere start doing a little bit of what you're doing and valuing our seniors. So tell us some of the things you got coming up for the holidays.
Well, I'm going to tell you the biggest thing coming up. Every year for the past 9 years, I've been doing what's called the Golden Table, which is the Thanksgiving feast for senior citizens, where we would send Ubers and shuttle buses, and friends would pick seniors up and bring them to a location where we have a sit-down dinner just for them. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we can't do it like that this year, but I prayed about it, and the Lord gave me another idea. And what we're going to be doing, and you all can do this wherever you live, try this out. Where my mom used to live in Baltimore, it's a senior facility that has 92 residents there. And I contacted them and I said, listen, what if we do a full Thanksgiving feast? And what we're going to do is have the food, we're going to have the food cooked and brought to a central location at the building where we warm it all up, and my helpers will be with me. And starting at 3 o'clock on November 21st, we're going to, we have a list of menu items that all the residents already have. They already marked off what they want. And we're going to take each one of their menus and make them a plate downstairs and have it delivered to their front door. That'll be a full Thanksgiving feast, dessert, drinks, and also a big bottle of hand sanitizer as a gift from us. And we're going to take pictures, selfies with them. All safe. We have our mask on. We have our gloves on. We'll be doing the 6 foot social distancing and everything. This gives them a chance to have a full Thanksgiving meal. The only thing missing is sitting down next to each other and having it. You get to have this meal on your own. And again, this is something you all can do wherever you live. Don't just forget about Thanksgiving because you can't go be with people. Make arrangements to deliver dinner to them. They still got to eat. So, again, and when we announced to them that we were coming, they just got bent out of shape. They were just so excited. And the problem I'm running into is that other senior citizens in other places are wondering, how come you didn't pick my building to come to? So, can't beat everybody, but it's something you all control. Wherever you live, do it. It works. And if you can't do it there, then send a donation to us and we'll do it here in your honor. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see on the screen, I've posted how you can make donations to Hazel Run via Cash App at $Prison Men, just like you see it there, or Venmo at Prison Men, and put in the comments section the Hazel Run. Yes. And that will allow Chris to continue running errands and picking up groceries for the seniors in his area. Chris, I wrote to the people at Lysol and asked them to deliver a case to you of Lysol wipes or whatever when it comes up. I'm hoping that they will honor that request, but whatever.
So I didn't know you did that. Oh
yeah, goodness. Wherever you are, just make yourself available. I went and took, before one of our restaurants closed here in town, I took my great aunt, who was 101 years old at the time, to the restaurant, and they gave senior citizens a big discount. And we were walking through, and I got to the front, and the lady said, well, how many senior citizens? 2? And I said, no, 1. And she said, and she looked at me like, I know you're not trying to act like you're not a senior. And then it kind of dawned on me, what? I'm a senior citizen too, because I'm kind of getting on up there too. So some of us are.
Whatever.
Well, I am. Some of us are senior, but not as senior as others. So let's check on our people all around us. Let's love everybody that we can, but especially look after those seniors in our community and love on them, because they are a national treasure. Yes. And how sad for them to disappear from our lives. And we did not do what we could when we could. The worst part of it.
If you can't do nothing else, go knock on their door. I dare you to ask them that they want to just start a conversation. Have a seat 6 feet, 6 feet apart. Have a seat on the porch and let them talk to you. You can learn so much, and they would enjoy the company. I have to almost beg them, okay, I got to get out of here. I got to go, because they want to talk and talk and talk. And it's just the greatest thing in the world. So please, wherever you are, take the time. Just check on them. Don't forget about our seniors. Please don't. I beg you not to do it.
Man, I am so full listening to you talk about your sweet mother and how you're honoring her memory and her legacy by loving others. And I will tell you all, please continue to keep Chris in your prayers. He's had multiple deaths in his immediate family just here recently, but he's
Yeah.
still willing to go and to serve others. And that is really the commission that we've been given, to love people regardless of color, regardless of what their zip code is. Let's
Mhm.
just love people and show the love of Christ, especially to our seniors. Chris, how can people follow you and keep up with you? Give us that information.
Easy way to keep up with me. First of all, my Facebook page is public. It's not private. You can look up Christopher Tate and see this ugly face right here. You know it's me. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram, you just well, my Instagram is my email name, which is Proud Single Papa, and that's because I've been a proud single parent for 20 some years. But you'll find that on Instagram. You can pretty much Google my name; it'll take you right to my contact. But I want to say one more thing before we log off. I cannot come on this podcast without mentioning one of the most important people in both of our lives, the person who was responsible. I was trying not to get teary-eyed talking about him. For me meeting Sue, the late great in every way, Vernon Chappell of Bakersfield by way of Wasco, California. This
Yeah.
man was literally larger than life. I mean, Vernon Chappell he was like the nucleus that brought people together from everywhere. Everybody, all of us have a connection. The common denominator was Vernon Chappell. This man was a worshiper. He was a praiser. He knew how to invoke worship in places where, I mean, he would take us places where they don't even know nothing about worship. He would take people who don't know how to sing, don't know how to play, but they knew how to worship. They knew they loved God, and he would take that and create worship out of them. And this man brought Sue to California, and he had told us about this Sue. He talked about Sue so much. We knew more about Sue than we knew Shirley Caesar. I mean, oh yeah, I'm serious. It was all, and when Sue came, everybody just got excited. Every year Sue would come, and I missed those years, but I was so blessed when social media kind of bring people back to you. And I clicked on her name a long time ago. Ah, there goes Sue. I'm just like she said. I'm so happy to see people that are still in the fight, still on the front line of worship. You know, we haven't given up our position because of what's going on around us, and no matter what, we've seen them come, we've seen them go, but the blood still works. It still works.
Ah, ah, listen, Chris, thank you so much for being on with me today. Would you come back sometime? Because
Anytime, and
30
I
minutes
promise
don't
you,
give us enough
this
time.
camera will not mess up next time. I promise you that.
Well, you know what? It wasn't a camera, but we're not going to talk about it deeply. Praise God. We're
No,
going to let it. We're going
it's a new thing. I'm trying to get it going, but I got it now. We'll call this a practice run. I promise you, I got it. I got it now.
Listen, I love all of you and I thank you all so much for being here. If this was your first time signing on, I hope it won't be your last. We welcome you to be a part of Mama Sue's family. We want the whole world to know that there's enough love in my heart for everybody. I'm America's mom, and loving you is an easy thing to do. I'm going to sign off now, but thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you on the third Monday of this month, which will be November the 16th, when my special guest will be the incomparable Chester Eugene Williams. And some of you said, Chester Eugene Williams, I don't know Chester. Well, come and meet Chester. Because I guarantee you, he has an amazing testimony that is going to ignite and inspire you. So please join me on the 16th for Moments with Mama Sue at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Chris, one last time, tell somebody something important that they need to do in loving seniors before we sign off.
Georgiana Wilson's watching. She is my mother's best friend in Baltimore, and she witnessed that I can tell you that all they want is the attention and the time. If you can't do nothing else, if you don't have a dime to your name, just call them and tell them you love them. You know, just don't forget them. That's all. One last thing, real quick. Starting last month, every first Sunday, I go to see senior citizens who can't go to church and who still have that passion for communion. And we'll take communion right to their front door. And yesterday we had about 14 people. It was absolutely incredible. We take it just like you do at church, the same rights and everything. We do the same thing right there in the living room, in the apartment building, and it just makes the world of a difference. They just don't feel forgotten that way. We don't want them to be forgotten, y'all. It's scary. To them, it's scary.
Wow.
Seeing each other pass away. So, y'all, keep loving them. I promise you, you'll be blessed.
And we will keep loving you. So I will look forward to seeing you on the 16th. Love you guys. Bye bye.
That's yeah.